Welcome back to Eagle Recaps. This is the most secure anti-theft door I have ever seen, and the key turned out to be a mouse. The man was preparing to go home when he first took out the mouse that had been hiding in a crack in the wall and put it in the opening above the gate. After the mouse smelled the food, it climbed into a basket along the track, and the basket with gravity dropped instantly, driving the door lock through the gears, and opening it from the inside. In this way, the man successfully entered the house, and he did not forget to put the key in his pocket. The man's name is Starling, and he used to be a top killer. Tired of killing, he concealed his identity and lived a carefree life. But on this day, he was enjoying life while eating radishes by the side of the road. Suddenly a panicked pregnant woman ran past him, followed by a killer. Originally, the Starling didn't want to meddle in other people's business, but the other party just threw a look at you. As a top killer, Starling couldn't swallow this breath, and immediately followed. Just when the killer took out the dagger, he sneaked up on elder brother from behind, and stabbed the opponent with the carrot in his hand. At the same time, the killer's accomplices chased him up and sent the elder brother to the pregnant woman to run away, while he started to fight with the other party. He first exploded the oil barrel, then used the black engine oil as a lubricant, rushed over with a spatula, and used his precision. He easily killed a few people with his marksmanship, and then broke through the window, killing the little brothers hiding here again. Coincidentally, the amniotic fluid of the pregnant woman has broken and the child is about to be born. Brother Ba had no choice but to resist the killer while helping deliver the baby. Although the process was tense and exciting, but fortunately, the mother and son safely wrapped the baby in the clothes of the elder brother, then handed it to the mother, and then picked them up and settled them in the corner. This is the killer boss Uncle Glasses chasing after the blood on the ground. Unexpectedly, the Starling attacked from behind, not only snatching the gun with his backhand, but also aiming at Uncle Glasses' head. But what was unexpected was that the opponent's pistol turned out to be fingerprint recognition, and it was impossible to pull the trigger at all. Just as the little brothers were chasing after him, Brother Fa immediately ran upstairs, braving the hail of bullets and holding the mother and child. Unfortunately, the woman was headshot in the process and died instantly. The Starling didn't want to wade into the muddy water again, and was about to turn around and leave. But hearing the baby's cry, his heart softened again, so he turned back, hugged the baby, and hid in the toilet. While nibbling carrots, he lay in ambush on the pit. But suddenly the pistol in his pocket fell into the toilet, and the helpless Starling had to put down the child, and then began to disassemble the pistol, wiped all the parts clean, and then quickly assembled it. Just as the killer came to the door, the Starling was assembled. Then the next second, the man holding the child is being hunted, hiding in the toilet, eating carrots and waiting for a counterattack. Unexpectedly, the pistol fell into the toilet. The helpless Starling had to quickly disassemble it, clean up the water stains and quickly assemble it. Just when the killer came to the door, the Starling broke the gun, but it still didn't work. He quickly shoveled and started to avoid, then turned off the light with a carrot, and carried out a sneak attack in the dark. The Starling also held down the opponent's arm holding the gun, and put it on the bombing phone to roast, and the killer who couldn't stand it had to let go. After the Starling got the pistol, he immediately controlled the situation, then picked up the child and ran away. Although I don't know why these killers wanted to kill the child must be innocent. The kind-hearted Starling put the child in the park, hoping that someone would adopt it. As he was leaving, a woman spotted the child, but was shot dead as she approached. It turned out that Uncle Glasses was chasing after him, and he wanted to shoot the children on the turntable. Fortunately, the Starling quickly turned the turntable with bullets, causing the Glasses' uncle to be unable to aim. The Starling quickly rescued the child, and it seemed that he could not get rid of the child. But having no experience in raising babies, he had no choice but to go to his friend Suehua, hoping that he could help breastfeed, but was ruthlessly rejected by the other party, so the Starling had to take care of the baby. Leave. But it didn't take long for Uncle Glasses to find this place and began to ask about the whereabouts of Mina. When aiming at Suehua with a gun, Mina suddenly appeared. It turned out that he was worried that Suehua would turn back and kill the younger brother outside. But the fingerprint gun in his hand made Uncle Glasses calm. Little did he know that the Starling had been prepared for a long time, took out the younger brother's finger, shot down the Glasses' uncle, and then fled quickly with Suehua. To the surprise, Uncle Glasses did not die because the bullet hit his body armor. At this time, the Starling fled home with the child and Suehua, pulled out an unwashed carrot and ate it, and turned on the TV. The child who listened to the DJ music stopped crying. Starling also found that the child would cry as soon as the channel was changed, so it was deduced that the child's mother must live near the bar. In order to find out the truth, Starling and Suehua went to a nearby bar, and they found a large number of diaper boxes at the door. Then they went upstairs to the bar, and as soon as they entered the room, they saw many corpses, and there were 3 pregnant women in a photo album on the ground, one of whom was the mother of the child. The Starling continued to walk in and saw that the other 2 pregnant women had been killed, and the killer was making a phone call. Starling and Suehua immediately went into an additional storage room, and found a large number of equipment used for bone marrow transplantation in it, and analyzed through the killer's call just now that it was a group of surrogate organizations, and the 3 pregnant women were pregnant with the same personal children, that is to say, in order to treat their own diseases. Some people use surrogacy to give birth to babies and then extract bone marrow to save their lives. This is a killer who heard the sound and came in with a pistol to check, but he was killed by the Starling with one move. Careful starlings discovered that the pistols used by these killers were all new products that had not yet been launched, which was enough to infer that this group of people must have some kind of connection with the military factory. The man took the bus with the child in his arms, and when he saw someone else's baby wearing a hat, he immediately felt guilty, so he took off his own socks and put them on the child's head. After all, you must have what others have. The man's name is Starling. Just picked up a baby who was hunted down. In order to find out the truth, he and Tsuehua came to the military factory, where a weapons exhibition was being held. For the safety of the two, Mark let Tsuehua take the child to hide in a tank, then sneaked into the building by himself and easily subdued the guard, and then sat in his place and watched the changes. Sure enough, Uncle Glasses was talking with people inside, and the truth of the matter was heard by all Bagu, and it turned out that the person who wanted a bone marrow transplant was actually a council member. Then the starling returned to the tank, and saw in the newspaper that the congressman had been proposing to ban the sale of weapons, so once he became president, the arms dealers would lose their jobs. In order to prevent all this from happening, he had to hire Uncle Yen Jing to kill the bone marrow, forcing the pregnant women and children to let one of the seriously ill die. Starling and Tsuehua are going to take their children to find an artiste, but they are spotted by the killer on the way, and they immediately split up. The starling jumped out of the car with the child in his arms, accelerated with all his might and started to flee. But when passing through an intersection, the killer's car crashed heavily. To him, the car rolled 380 degrees in the air and got back on track again. But when the starling lowered his head, he found that the child was gone. He immediately turned back to pick it up, but he didn't grasp the distance well, and the child missed him. And a group of killers rushed to directly collide with him. Fortunately, the starling was already prepared, rushed into the opponent's car with the usual practice, and eliminated all the killers. At this time, Uncle Glasses chased after him in a car and pressed the tire directly on the child. Just when he was about to be happy, he found that it was just a doll. It turned out that the child had been staying in the tank and was well taken care of by Tsuehua. Then the starling called the congressman again, and was taken to the plane by bodyguards. I saw a congressman covered in pipes. Originally, the starling thought that he and his child would be protected and thanked, but unexpectedly, the congressman said that he had just reached an agreement with Uncle Spectacles. As long as he helped find the child, the successful bone marrow transplant would cancel the one-shot proposal. But in order to cover up the matter, the starling must die. Hearing this, the starling hijacked him immediately. At the same time, Uncle Glasses also rushed in, but this didn't stop the starling from jumping into the hold with the congressman. In order to prevent him from withdrawing the proposal, the starling shot the congressman in the head, and then jumped off with a parachute on his back. Uncle wearing glasses. His subordinates followed suit. After some fighting, the starling was seriously injured. Although he landed successfully, he passed out while escaping. When he woke up, he was caught by Uncle Glasses and began to question his child's whereabouts. But the starling would rather die than submit. Even if all his fingers were broken, he still kept his mouth shut. Just when Uncle Glasses took out a scalpel and stabbed him in the eye, Pug immediately fought back. Although the fingers don't work, you can still easily kill the younger brother. Then jumped into a room and sat by the fire. Uncle Glasses walked over confidently and laughed at him for not being able to use a gun at all. Little did he know that the starling had already caught the bullet on his finger, and all the bullets were activated by the roasting of the stove, and hit Uncle Glasses. In this way, the starling successfully wiped out the entire gang, and finally he, Tsuehua and his children lived a carefree and happy life.